You're listening to episode 3 of the Ento Podcast.
Looking to stay up to date on all things entomorphagy? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Ento Podcast with your host, Ross Bell.
Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Cricket. Cricket for all your dried, flavoured and cricket protein products. Find us at www.cricket.co.uk. Our first story comes from Stuff Magazine's website in New Zealand, entitled "The Food of the Future is Hopping, Flying and Crawling in Your Backyard Right Now," and it's by Jane Matthews. One of Wellington's top chefs has made a flying visit to New Plymouth to demonstrate just how delicious a future of bug eating will be. His dish of the day was pork bun, except the pork was replaced with mealworms and garnished with crickets, grasshoppers and ants. The chef Jacob Brown at the Ladder Restaurant in Wellington was cooking as part of Bugs, our Backyard Heroes exhibition at Puke Aroriki Museum on Sunday. He said that although he didn't eat bugs every day or regularly serve them in his restaurant, he 100% believes that they were the food of the future. He served the bugs with ginger, garlic, shallots, coriander and a bit of hoisin sauce and sesame oil, and the results were all positive. Danny Campbell, 13, had eaten a huhu grub and stick insect in the past for reasons he couldn't remember, but says these bugs tasted better. Brown wasn't there to force people to eat the bugs or change their diet, but instead called it an experience to help people think about food differently and encourage the idea of eating sustainable foods such as insects. The next story is from the Toronto Sun. It's entitled "Crickets Anyone?" by Veronica Henry. Crunching on crickets as a gluten-free snack may sound odd, but it could be a healthier choice than a processed pre-packaged snack. A source of protein, fibre, omega-3 and vitamin B12, crickets started creeping onto dinner plates in 2014, and it seems they're here to stay. There is the Jiminy Bar, creatively named after the iconic Walt Disney cartoon character, made out of cricket flour, which is now a popular item and sold daily at the Bannock restaurant in downtown Toronto. A small packet of Bug Bistro crickets, roasted in the choice of honey mustard, Moroccan or barbecue, can be bought ready to eat for $1.69 at Summerhill Market. At the Alcantine Dell'Istria in Trendy Distillery District, executive chef Olivier de Calais uses a pestle to grind up a handful of roasted crickets in a mortar of guacamole. Calais is originally from Mexico and doesn't have any problem chowing them down. Crickets are very common, and so are mosquito larvae, ant eggs, so it's in our culture, he says. Canadians appear to be adopting this peculiar food source, for large numbers of insects are coming into the city from a rural farm just outside Peterborough. Entomo Farms in Norwood, Ontario, boasts it's the world's largest producer of crickets for human consumption. Darren Golden, its co-founder, along with his brothers Jared and Ryan, believe that crickets are a superfood, not only because their research shows the protein ratio from cricket to beef is approximately 4:1, but because of the attention the bug's exoskeleton is attracting in university studies. The exoskeleton contains chitin, which is an effective prebiotic nutrition for probiotics, explains Gilden. It keeps our guts healthy. By converting chicken barns into a bug farming operation, Entomo is home to millions of banded crickets. A heated room acts as a nursery where the eggs hatch into hundreds of millions of nymphs, a small version of the adult cricket, which are no larger than the size of a grain of coarse salt. Unlike many insects, crickets do not undergo the process of metamorphosis. The insects are later moved to a grow room, and as they rub their wings together, the room sounds like a symphony of sorts. 5 million crickets humming their tunes as they dine, mate, and hide in the darkness found beneath industrial-sized egg cartons. This suits the insects, as hiding is essential if you're at the bottom of the food chain. But on this farm, their fear of natural predators is irrelevant, for their fate is predetermined. Golden places a tray of crickets in the oven for roasting. The bugs are turned into flour, powder, or simply roasted crickets. The flour sells for about $15 a bag, and the farmers recommend replacing 25% of regular flour in any recipe for optimum flavour. Milestones restaurants are adding crickets to their menu in April, and since February, Loblaws at Maple Leaf Gardens sells cricket products, and the list doesn't stop there. As people are exposed more to eating insects in North America, the conversation is changing as we continue to learn to extract minerals from them because they're in such high concentrations. We definitely believe the pharmaceutical industry will be interested in what we are doing. And the last story today is Sunday Post, and it's by Beverly Lyons, and it's entitled MasterChef star Gary McLean admits he once used ants in a salad. Star chef Gary McLean has a skin-crawling secret. He used ants in a salad when he couldn't find a lemon. MasterChef The Professionals winner Gary revealed he added creepy crawlies to a dish as they have a citrus flavour. The 45-year-old's stomach-churning admission makes the furore about Mary Berry's cream in her spag bol clanger seem like small fry. Gary, a lecturer in the City of Glasgow College, said, "When I was in Norway I was using ants to cook with, and it was amazing. I was at a 3-star Michelin restaurant and had to cook with food that was indigenous to Norway. They had no lemon, no olive oil, no parmesan, and we had to find substitutes. Ants substitute lemon, and they had some frozen ants for me to cook with in a little plastic container. You just put them in. Who said it's bad? I quite like the fact that we were using ants because we had a reason. We weren't trying to be novel, we just needed something citrusy, and that's what we used. Some people are doing insect restaurants," he said. "There is a big insect revolution going on, and people see it as natural to use them in cooking. In South America in particular, they use loads of them. It's part of their culture. They look at us using prawns the same way as eating insects. They find it bizarre that we use a scavenger from the sea. They're saying insects are just the next big protein." If you want to read the article in full, I'll put the link to it in the show notes below. It's a quiet week this week, so that's it for the Ento Podcast. Join me again next week for another news roundup. See ya!
Thanks so much for listening to the Ento Podcast. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit theentopodcast.co.uk and on Facebook and Twitter at The Ento Podcast. We'll catch you next time.